Majestic scenery and grand mountains aren't exclusive to the West. In the East, you can find equally majestic landscapes, and with them, the same eccentric mountain weather. In an environment where conditions are constantly shifting, we come face to face with the realization that so much of who we are as people depends on everything that surrounds us. It was the height of summer, and we were headed east, beyond the forests of the Midwest, to the land where the hills become mountains.
Along the way, we ran into a turbulent thunderstorm.
But eventually, we were back in blue skies and found ourselves in Ithaca, New York.
Here, we met up with Thomas. The full crew was together once again.
Ithaca, New York.
Welcome, nice shirt.
Thank you.
We all grabbed lunch. Tacos, buffalo tofu wings, pho burrito, and a veggie burger.
Afterwards, we explored the town, including the local outdoor gear store.
Guarding the store were a couple of laid-back dogs.
And then we were off again, driving by forested hills and blue lakes.
It was a long journey on the road. A golden evening eventually became a colorful dusk.
A beautiful crescent moon floated in the watercolor sky.
As night fell, we neared our motel. Unfortunately, the same chain that we had had a bad experience with on our road trip last year.
Okay, so far, seems all right.
It smelled good, didn't it?
Yeah, the lobby was very nice. She was very nice. Yeah. And we're not on the side with the two shirtless men.
We settled in before falling asleep.
Ooh, this is kind of soft.
Early in the morning, we packed up and drove to our destination, the High Peaks Wilderness of the Adirondacks.
We grabbed our gear and set off.
Before even making it onto the trail, we saw a butterfly enjoying an afternoon meal.
Then, we went to the trailhead and reviewed our tentative plan.
From the trailhead, we were hiking south past Marcy Dam. Then, we would hike past Avalanche Lake and camp a night at Lake Colden. We would then continue looping around to Algonquin Peak. From here, we would camp one more night before hiking our way out.
The first portion of the trail was flat and peaceful, and there were even mushrooms sprouting from the ground.
Yeah, this looks like, to me, a variety of Amanita muscaria. It's definitely in the Amanita genus, but... I was right. I think so. The Amanita muscaria we think of as like bright red, but sometimes they do have like yellow or orange varieties. Well, there's like a weird flower-looking thing, but I think this is a gall that an insect created from like a terminal leaf or something.
There's multiples, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, these are something else.
They're all over this tree.
Yeah.
Huh.
As it turned out, these were the bracts that covered the nut of the beaked hazelnut tree.
What do you think those bird noises are? Any idea what that bird is? Because I've never heard that in the Midwest before.
I know I've heard them before, probably like from a video game.
Yeah. Doesn't it sound almost fake, like we're in a museum exhibit?
Yeah. It's like where they got some speaker hidden somewhere that's just playing the sound on loop.
I think that's the black-capped chickadee. And we have chickadees all around Ohio and the Midwest, usually where we're from. But that's actually the Carolina chickadee that we usually hear. And they look completely similar, but you can differentiate them from the songs. And that's a really distinctive song we were hearing earlier. Soothing nature surrounded us everywhere. but we started seeing signs of a more alpine environment. So down here we've got a ton of blueberry bushes growing. We might be a little too north for them to be growing because in the Smokies I've seen them growing around this month, but that's also way south of us. But I also see some of these. It's a type of dogwood that's actually a herbaceous plant. Usually dogwoods are like trees or shrubs. And you can see the flowers here, but usually they have red berries later in the season. We actually tried some up in Canada when we were canoeing. Kind of tastes like dust, but they're edible. We also saw this fruiting Canada Mayflower.
As we hiked across a boardwalk, Andrew noticed another unfamiliar plant.
Yeah, it's funny how different this environment is. I'm seeing all these trees that I've only seen in like tree books or in gardens. This one I believe is called the alder tree, and it looks like a normal hardwood broadleaf tree, but it's got these pine cone looking sort of seed pods. They look just like pine cones that you'd find on a spruce tree or something. But just in general, I mean, for the eastern US, I'm so used to it being hardwood, deciduous trees, but this just feels like we're out in Yellowstone or something.
So you're getting flashbacks to being out west?
A little bit. Definitely don't remember all this greenery and all this fallen leaves on the floor, but this is amazing.
Yeah, it's very unique.
I think we've been really privileged to go explore much of the US and see all the diversity that it has just in landscape. I don't know, for whatever reason, the Northeast has always been some place that I've just kind of forgotten about. Until last year when I did Katahdin. This is amazing, right?
It's really cool. Besides the mosquitoes.
It seems we're also a little late for these lady slippers. Usually this flower is like a much brighter pink color, and it looks just kind of like a slipper that you would put a foot in, hence the name lady slipper. But it's actually a type of orchid that grows natively around here. There's a couple more back there, also kind of desiccated, but still kind of pretty. We also saw some trillium plants, and up ahead, some fungi. I'm not sure if these are just really old desiccated mushrooms or if they are the delicacy called black trumpet. The black trumpets are a type of edible mushroom that are highly sought after, that kind of look like chanterelles except they're all black around, but these feel really like hard and papery, so I'm not sure. This might just be like an old mushroom. I guess we'll have the narrator fill us in. Looking back, these were definitely not black trumpets, but at the time it seemed possible. Decaying logs are always great to look for fungi and slime molds, and this one has some orange mycena, really pretty orange mushroom. But even cooler than that are these weird looking chocolate tube slime molds. You can kind of see how they get the name. They look like these tiny tubes that are dipped in chocolate. It almost looks like Pocky actually. Pocky for an ant.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you blow on it, you can kind of see all that brown stuff coming off of it.
Whoa, that's tight.
As idyllic as the setting was, things weren't all bright and sunny.
So we actually are expecting rain at 2 p.m. It's a little after 11 right now.
It's got that like pre-storm windiness.
Yeah, and it's really cool and nice, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure these are wood sorrel, right?
Yeah.
Because of the distinctive fake clover.
Yeah. The ones with those pink flowers are too.
Like Holden?
Yep, to the left.
This is the main junction that begins the loop.
Yep.
We just got to the end of the lollipop stick, I guess. We continued on and saw some Xylaria hypoxylon fungi, an American toad, and some interesting fungi. There's mushrooms everywhere in this forest, and I'm always excited when I find one in this genus, Hericium. This is called the bear's tooth fungus, or maybe it's boar's tooth. I don't remember the common name, but it is edible, one of those really distinct, toothy looking white fungi. And actually, there's some mushrooms in this genus, Hericium, that they think might have cancer curing properties, so edible and medicinal. This may have been the boar's head fungus, which is native to these parts.
Further on, the trail took us ever so higher up in altitude. We trudged up rocks and across more boardwalks before feeling a gust of wind.
With that wind, it's a little ominous.
Well, you know what isn't ominous? Our friendship.
Ladies and gentlemen, honest and hard.
Every time I watch an episode, I'm like, where are all these funny one-liners? I'm like, wait a second. All of my comedy is put to the bloopers.
So Marcy Dam is up ahead, so I think that's what that rushing water is.
There's a little offshoot path. Oh. I'm gonna have me a snack.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, this is as good a snack spot as any. I've always wanted to go to the Adirondacks, and just from everything I've seen online, it's stuff like this that makes me think of the Adirondacks. Like big streams with rocks and alpine trees. It's strange how a completely unfamiliar place can still feel so nostalgic.
The large boulders scattered about the stream somehow perfectly fit the image in our heads of what the Adirondacks were.
The ominous sky swirled above, so after our brief lunch, we got back on the trail.
As we hiked, the wind rushed through the trees around us.
The leaves of birch, spruce, fir, and cherry trees rustled as we came upon a significant landmark. There's something coming up. Oh, there's a campsite back there too, and a toilet.
These must be the campgrounds.
Yeah, so this is Marcy Dam, and there's campgrounds like everywhere. Whoa, look at that, dude. You can see the mountains in the distance. Wow, that is a beautiful sight, dude.
We stopped to take in the views and look at all the different mountaintops.
The big guy is Mount Colden. This middle guy is Avalanche Mountain, which is a very ominous name. And then the tall one over here is Wright Peak and Algonquin Peak, and Boundary Peak and Iroquois Peak. It doesn't say specifically what it's called, but I think it's the McIntyre Mountains. The last day is where we'll be going up there. We're kind of at the halfway mark.
I feel really tired for some reason, but I know that's gonna mean a really good night's sleep tonight.
Yeah.
For the longest time, people have always talked about upstate New York. I've never really kind of defined what that image is. And this, nothing like New York City.
This makes me feel like I'm like at the foot of the Tetons, even though I know the Tetons are gigantic.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like what it would be like.
These are 5,000 feet.
I've been hearing these white-throated sparrows, and I always associate that bird call with like either the north or the west. Like when you hear that all the time, you really know you're out there.
You know what I miss the sound of? Is a good loon.
Is that what the...
Near the creek bed, sedges swayed in the wind. By the trail, underripe blueberries emerged and orange hawkweeds bloomed next to the medicinal self-heal flowers.
It seemed like we were on the verge of a storm, so we decided to keep going.
The main thing is we just don't want to be on Avalanche Lake when the storm hits, right?
Yes.
Like anywhere else we can huddle down somewhere.
Yeah.
We crossed a footbridge to the other side of the stream.
What if, like, when it started raining, the only shelter we could find was a toilet, and we all just had to huddle together in a little toilet?
Rangers, I don't know if they're technically rangers or not, but they're incredibly helpful where they keep, they'll approach you and they'll ask you, hey, you guys have all the gear you need? You guys got the spare boxes? You good? Do you have any questions? It's been pretty awesome.
Like, besides the impending inclement weather, everything about this place seems super nice and hospitable.
Yeah. There's a toilet. Thomas, you're gonna have a toilet the whole time. Does that make you happy?
We saw a few species of this near the river back there, but these are sedges. One of the key giveaways is that if you feel the stem and you roll it between your fingers, it has sort of a triangular cross section. And also the seeds are usually really pronounced and kind of like spiky looking. And I've heard that actually all sedges are edible. I think they're referring to eating the seeds like a grain. I've never tested it myself, but they belong to the genus Carex. And there's so many different species that grow around, but not all grassy things are grass. We also saw some flowering bunchberry plants.
continued deeper into the mountains where the paths became more rocky and bumped into some of our viewers.
We want to give a shout out to Adventure Archives. We started backpacking
Because of you guys. Yeah.
So this is our first day.
We're probably going again.
My mom, she's very worried about me right now. She was like, text me when you get in and when you leave.
Yeah.
While they were on their way out, we still had much further to hike.
Despite the relatively tame terrain, the uphills felt steeper than they looked.
I am kind of tired, honestly. You know, I know your sleep schedule works on a 48-hour basis, and I didn't get a lot of sleep 2 nights ago. This isn't that hard of a trail, but man, am I pooped, so I'm looking forward to sleeping tonight.
I was pretty tired in the car earlier, but I'm feeling good now. I'm also not carrying a bear canister though, so.
Yeah, I hesitate to say that I'm feeling great because I'm also not carrying a bear canister. I'm like, man, I'm feeling so good.
This has got to be one of the most well-maintained trails we've ever hiked on. Toilets like every mile along the trail.
Yeah, but I don't think the last masseuse station we were at was that good.
We crossed another classic Adirondack stream, and I spotted a delicate flower. So these tiny flowers, I actually have seen these growing in lawns and yards a lot of the time, but these are called bluettes. And when I first heard the name, I thought they were called blue X's or something, like blue X, because they have 4 petals kind of in the shape of an X, and they're this bluish color. Really delicate looking.
Not edible.
Not that I know of.
Unless you're Homer Simpson. Weather looks perfectly clear. You understand how heavenly this is right now? Wow, dude. Yeah.
We confirmed our route at the next junction before heading on.
Here, the trail became steeper as we climbed up the hill, sometimes literally.
Thomas, how are you doing that? Going so fast. That was really steep.
Yeah. This is where we're going?
I think.
Yep.
Oh, this one's for
Markers
skiing
there.
only, it says. We continued on through the woods, surrounded by fir trees.
The trail became even rockier as it continued further uphill.
Now, we began our trek to Avalanche Pass.
The reason it's called Avalanche Pass is, one, that's Avalanche Mountain, but more importantly, there is a giant stone slab on that side of the mountain. So when there is a ton of snow and ice in the wintertime, that all comes avalanching down in between this valley right here. And that's why you have such a high amount of debris right here. It's because it all gets swept down this mountain every year.
Wow, that's intense.
The landscape suddenly transformed into something we hadn't experienced on this trail up to now.
Gigantic, rocky crags rose high into the sky. Vegetation grew out of the cracks in their surface.
In some areas, the rocky walls formed shallow, recessed caves like the ones we had seen in the Midwest.
And still others blended into their wooded surroundings with thick coverings of moss and weeds.
scenery all around us was absolutely amazing. But as we approached Avalanche Lake, we realized we had only just scratched the surface.
It was such a perfect scene. We followed the example of the locals and enjoyed this moment for a while.
Care to partake? You guys like some butter shrimp?
Yeah, we lucked out on this weather, man.
It's moments like this, you've got to give a little bit of thanks to something. Like, having dealt with so much rain last year, it makes you really appreciate moments like this even more and not take it for granted.
And then we continued on, hiking along the lakeshore.
And in some parts, we were literally right on the edge.
And in others, we had to climb up ladders and boulders.
Yeah, people weren't joking when they said this is a heck of a scramble.
I feel like a real-life Mario brother or something.
As we scrambled along the rocky shore, different angles of the lake and its surrounding cliffs were revealed to us.
And then, after much scrambling, we wandered out onto a peaceful nook above the lake.
Instead of just exercising your legs, this is a full body workout.
This feels like a hike from a dream. Like, this is not a trail you would imagine would actually exist. Just hiking over the water and up through the rocks.
It's like a sanctuary or something. If you were to drop me right here, I would probably say that this is somewhere in the Sierras, but no, this is as far away of the Sierras as you could be.
The towering cliffs and wide open lake made it feel like we were in the middle of a naturally formed Hetch Hetchy Valley.
Now, after enjoying all the scenery, it was time for us to actually walk out onto the water surface.
There was a beaver dam at the far end of the lake, and above us, we witnessed a search and rescue taking place.
Rescuing somebody for sure.
Or doing a training run or something.
Huh. Whoa, that was intense, dude.
Wow.
It's like the T-1000.
We crossed over a bridge to the other side of the lake, then continued along a swampy trail.
A little wobbly. It seems like that helicopter is actually looking for somebody because they've been up for a while and just it sounds like they're going all over the place.
Yeah, I can't tell where it is, but it sounds like they're circling, right? Like,
yeah.
Huh.
They might be coming right now.
That's funny. The last time we were surrounded by granite cliffs, we saw a helicopter too in Yosemite.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We re-entered a forested area and came to a trail junction.
So we're going to Lake Colden. That's also where we would go if we're going to Algonquin Peak tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then if we decide to go to Mount Colden, we'll be back this way.
Well, let's go set up camp and
Yeah, let's
take a break.
So we're not close yet, though. It's still at least another half mile or more.
We continued hiking, some of us faster than others.
There's a point in every hike with Thomas where he gets fed up with how slow we go. And then he's gone. Well, this looks treacherous.
Garbage compactor.
We came to another junction that suggested we were nearing the campsites.
It says Holden Lean-To's this way.
I don't care where we go, I just want to sit down.
Another sign here?
Beaver Point Lean-To, 0.3 miles.
Oh, I guess we went left, huh?
The map says there's a campsite right down this way, but this doesn't have anything listed on there.
I mean, it's got that tent right there. That tent means there's a campsite.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that was an arrow.
Yeah. So that's the campsite right there.
Yeah.
We keep going down. There's another one.
Yeah.
There's a bunch here. Let's go closer to this one.
I see a tarp set up over there, so it looks like it might be taken anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately, our search for campsites was taking longer than expected.
But we did see some amazing scenery in the meantime. We came to more ladders, and eventually a well-constructed bridge that crossed the lake.
Okay, so there's 4 campsites over here, and there's a bunch of campsites over here. I will scout these. Thomas is scouting those. Does he know there's only 4 there?
I don't know what he knows.
I'm waiting here then. Never mind.
All right.
We decided to split up and look for campsites.
Thomas, no luck. I found a campsite at the very end. It's not ideal because it's not very open, but other than that, it's nice. I think it'll do.
Is it near the stream at all?
Yeah, there's a place where we can go out to the stream and...
Good enough for me.
Yeah, let's just go get it. I don't think any one of us wanted to camp in the forest after such a long, hot hike, but that's what happens when you're the slowest hikers around. Woo!
The campsite was honestly pretty cramped and enclosed.
But being able to finally wash off and cool down in the stream was an absolute blessing.
I will literally murder someone if I don't get in the stream immediately.
After learning how to be a human being again, I helped Robbie filter some water.
The line between humanity and anarchy is this thin. That line is just how hot and sweaty you are.
The more bug bites and humidity I have on my skin, the more I want to murder something. But as soon as I got in the water, it's just like, oh,
Urge to kill, rising, falling.
Thomas, you should get in.
Oh! Thomas is getting in.
How's it feel, Thomas?
First, it's shrinkingly cold. Now it's getting kind of nice.
Did you put the shrinkables in yet?
I have not submerged the shrinkables. It's like, you know those t-shirts that all you do is add water and then they like expand in this huge thing?
It's like the opposite.
It's the opposite of that. This is for you, YouTube. It's not that bad.
Those clouds are definitely looking very ominous, and the wind is blowing towards us, so we got our shelter set up at least.
I should probably put my pants on.
You're fine.
Might be a quick dinner. Yo, it's gonna rain any second.
I think we should probably start eating.
Let's go ahead and just get the stuff started. Okay, so we got Texas State Fair chili.
As soon as we started cooking dinner, we had to scramble to deal with the incoming weather.
Brian, we're gonna start packing up, and it looks like rain might be coming, so.
We packed up as quickly as we could, then made our way back to the campsite.
There, we tried to figure out how best to set up the tarp.
Haste is
Question is,
definitely-
which one should I use, though?
Abandon ship, get in the tents.
Hold on.
No.
Okay, all right. Everybody, yeah, hurry.
Get this over everything.
Yep. Cutting this.
Brian, come help.
He's got to take care of his own thing.
What are we doing?
Getting this up ASAP.
That's one end up there. Get that. All right. Hold on. Calm down. We gotta calm down.
When you haven't prepared ahead of time and you have to set up a tarp on the fly, it can be really easy to get clumsy with how well you set it up.
Get the other side, Thomas. Get the other side. Where's the...
Andrew, I'm just temporarily tying it off here so we get more coverage right now.
Right under here? Yeah.
Right now. Where's the other tarp? It's right in here.
After getting the first tarp more or less set up, we pulled out the second one for some additional coverage.
I mean, this will work for now. Take these down later.
If anything, this will fight off the bugs for a bit. And we have a nice place to hang our wet clothes.
We got pretty cocky with how good we were feeling after we dipped in the stream. And just like, we really probably should have set these up first. I don't know. I think all of us were just super distracted.
I didn't think the rain would actually hit that fast.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that suddenly too, right?
Yeah, so this is always what I wanted to do when we had a rain situation, is make a little city of tarps. Have little like tunnels underneath each one and be able to spread secret messages to one another.
I don't know why we didn't just do that immediately. I should have thought of it.
Well, we also had food preparing.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
like that distracted us.
Food. Where did we put that food?
It's right here under my tarp.
Not even that hungry now. People naturally are driven to help each other and be kind to each other, but when you're in survival mode, all of that gets thrown out the window. And this trip has, I think, illustrated more clearly than anything. It's not quite the same, but like, just we're very much in a more survival kind of mode right now.
Yeah.
Hunkering down under these tarps.
Yeah, food, water, and shelter. When those start to disappear, you're like, ooh.
Those basic needs.
Ooh, I'm ready to kill my brethren. Yeah, see, the sun's coming out already. No problem. We can go eat.
Can I go eat now?
Yeah, I say so.
I say so as well.
Let's do it. Today we've got Texas State Fair chili. The desiccant was included in our rush to get out of there.
Oh.
So.
Do we want hot sauce?
Yes.
I kind of don't want to eat this while we're camping.
Today I will be playing a tomato in this rendition of Adventure Archives.
Tomato?
That tastes like real chili.
Nice.
My happiness was like... Yeah, it's got all the ingredients for chili.
We might want to eat incredibly quickly if that cloud is any indication.
Well, we were really testing the fates today.
Got a metal tripod here. We're holding a metal spoon.
It's good though. That was a good meal.
I don't know what I want to do right now. I just want to lie down. This is like one of those moments where you kind of wish you could like get helicoptered out or something.
I'm actually not that bad right now.
Hopefully.
Isn't that weird how that works? Yeah. You and I both swap. We can never be happy together. This is the worst beach day.
You look like a lifeguard.
I'm sorry. I don't know what that was.
With the rain clearing up, I still had one more thing to eat.
This right here is curry ramen from Daryl Anderson. Thank you, Daryl. I'm eating it by myself because they're still setting up the tarp, but we need to eat this before it rains so we can stuff it into the bear box. I'll try not to eat all of it. Oh, but oh my God, it smells so good. Look at that. Oh, baby. Oh, Mindy, you came and you dude. Man, ramen is a good camping food. Not good for you, but good.
You like my chopstick skills here?
Oh, not bad. Have they improved?
They were fantastic already. Daryl, I never met you. But this is great.
So this has been a series of unfortunate incidents, just so I don't have copyright infringement. I think part of it, for me at least personally, is like I've been traveling in New York last week, and it's just like feels like I haven't had a break. I don't know.
That'll do it. Yeah, when you've been traveling too much.
Yeah, I just.
Okay, yeah, it's just really intermittent. Let's go fill up and then
Okay, go fill up.
All right.
get the bear canners, and then get in the tent. There's no reason to still be out here.
It had been a hectic evening, but with the night, it felt like things were winding down again.
We all got into our shelters, and we were very ready to just relax and forget it all.
Well, it's going to be an interesting night, but now that I'm in my hammock, I feel good. And there's always that initial period when you get into your tent or your hammock and you're still sweaty and sticky. You're just like, this is going to be an awful night. But usually that changes once it gets a little cooler, so hopefully that happens.
Yeah, I kind of forgot how hot it can get inside of a tent in the summer. Even for me, I don't have another body warming me. No, I'm good.
This is the vision no one ever wanted to see.
About as muggy as it looks on camera is how muggy it is right now. I don't know. This hike today, like, it actually physically wasn't that bad, but just like, for some reason, mentally I was exhausted. I was in New York where it was like disgusting and humid all day, and I was like doing physical exercise for 6 hours a day. Yeah, and just like the franticness of the storm today is very draining. I don't know why.
You know what? The best you can do is live in the moment.
I think I'm gonna disassociate, actually. I think that's the only choice for me right now.
Well, at least you're with your fifth favorite adventure archiver right now. The worse it gets, the more funny it gets right now. So I'm kind of rolling with the punches as best I can.
The problem is that laughter produces heat.
Well, good thing I am hilarious. Feel my belly button.
Do you have any thoughts before I turn this camera off?
It's just picking out a dead bug in my belly button.
This is staying in the episode.
We had gotten through the night, very intentionally sleeping in to our heart's content. But now, it was time for some breakfast.
Dude, we slept for almost 12 hours. Did you sleep well?
Yeah, I feel like I could have kept lying there. Although I feel like the longer I lie there, the more dehydrated I become, and then the tireder I become because of that.
I only got up because I had to go to the bathroom. I was like, oh,
That's always what it is.
something must be done.
Yeah. It's hard to say what it'll be like today.
Dry right now, at least.
Our initial plan was to follow the loop back to Algonquin Peak, but with the possibility of thunder and more rain, Brian and I decided we weren't up for it. Thomas and Robbie still had the urge to climb something, so they decided to try for Mount Colden instead. This would allow us to backtrack and meet up at Marcy Dam later that night.
Robbie and I headed out first, while the others finished packing up camp.
Okay, is everybody feeling good about this?
I think so.
Okay. You ready, Thomas?
Ready to climb a mountain.
We headed out of the Lake Colden area and made our way towards the junction leading to the mountain.
And the rain Certainly added to the muddiness today. Wow, Thomas. Come take a look at this. It's amazing, man.
All right, so the others just headed out. We're finishing up packing up here. I feel like the only bad part of the trail is just Avalanche Lake, right? Yeah. Once we're past that, we're pretty home free.
Yeah, so Andrew and Brian will be following that all the way along. We're gonna be going on the other side for just a bit and then heading up the mountain over here.
But we soon heard some unsettling noises.
We're hearing some sounds of thunder way off to our left. We'll keep going and get to the intersection, and then we'll start to make a decision.
All right, well, we just heard a couple rumblings of thunder. I think if we run into rain and thunder, we'll be okay, but I'm just wondering what they're gonna end up doing. Feels miserable right now, though. Extremely muggy. Yeah.
It's drizzling a little.
Yeah, I feel that.
Let's go take shelter down there. Let's discuss it.
The smart hiker in me says don't hike it. The ambitious hiker says by the time we get up there we might be safe. But yeah, we might also get up there and be even more in the midst of it and then have to come down and then have to retrace.
I think if anything, going right now is a bad idea. But until we've waited it out 30 minutes and see if this is just a passing one or if this is going to be all day, I think that's the answer if we can't do it.
I think you're right.
Okay, well, contingency plan. We'll go back up to Avalanche Pass up there. Meet up with Brian and Andrew. Yeah, that's disappointing. Really
all right, to go up there'll always be more mountains to climb.
I had been pretty hell-bent that going up the mountain was a bad idea, but I wasn't happy about being proven right. Well, the irony is, we needed to sleep in to get mentally recharged, but it was sunny the whole time we were sleeping this morning, and now as you can see it's dark, and there's thunder.
Yeah, pretty interesting timing. Started right as we were about to go up. I think that's definitely a sign not to do it. So we're just gonna try to wait out the thick of the storm. Whenever we try to hike right when it starts raining, that's just asking to get completely soaked, and then it stops like 10 minutes later.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 5 other times. Eventually we'll learn our lesson.
You never know with mountain weather, it's super unpredictable. But this is why I was totally against going up the mountain in the first place. I don't know, I just wonder how the other two are doing.
That was like right above us, dude.
Yeah, let's
I think we're good. We're good.
We just saw 2 girls go up.
We advised them not to, but
they said they think they're fine.
I disagree.
Yeah, I definitely disagree right now.
Just cracked lightning super loud, and we saw the lightning. I'm really hoping the weather lets up at some point, but who knows, right? I mean, it's coming down really hard, and it almost seems like one of those storms that won't last a long time, but again, who knows?
Okay, we've decided to turn back, and the other 2 hikers who were going up, they have also decided to turn back, because it doesn't look like the rain is going to stop anytime soon, unfortunately.
Especially hard to navigate in the rain, but we came to a junction here. And I remember this is the junction where there's campsites on either side, so we gotta go this way, right? We almost just kept walking straight to the other campsite, which would not have been nice. Yeah, especially with glasses. Not ideal. Everything was absolutely soaking in this treacherous weather.
Well, when you get to this point, you kind of just accept it. If the rain looked like it was going to stop, we could make an attempt, but man, it just doesn't look like it's going to. How you doing, Thomas?
Right, I'm doing fine. I think, it's so.
Well, it's over.
I'm not going to look at you anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of nice when it gets this wet and you just give up. It's uncomfortable, but then it's not, you're agonizing over trying to stay comfortable, you know?
We keep thinking we hear voices or people whooping. We definitely heard voices earlier, right? All I know is once we get to Marcy Dam,
I think we should get a lean-to so we can just like spread out under there and figure things out.
Yeah. Okay, so we've arrived at the junction. We think we might even hear Brian and Andrew up ahead. Nope, that's not them.
We checked the guest book to see if they had come by yet.
I think we're basically going to be taking a slow and steady approach because we have to be careful. And ironically, this is actually not as bad as to me, it doesn't feel as bad as being hot and humid. We're so submerged in the wetness that it's like, there's no turning back from it. Yeah. There's no recovering. At this point, it's just kind of like you're a kid playing in the mud or something. I think there's like the slightest bit of sunlight coming out maybe. Still pretty wet though.
Still waiting for Brian and Andrew. Everybody seems to be heading away from the mountains. One group went up to Wright Peak and they did it overnight. But they did tell us about the plane wreck, and the plane wreck sounds super cool, so I'm gonna have to force Thomas to go do that with me tomorrow. Well, if it isn't our two good friends. We got to Mount Colden, and then we were debating, and then suddenly thunder went cuckoo, and we were like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, that thunder, that was right when we left the campsite, and we were like, oh my god, this is a terrible idea. We were walking through that, and I was like, I hope those two are still alive.
Did you guys try to wait out the rain at all, or just?
No, we just hiked through it.
I mean, literally I picked up our bags and it started raining. Everything is wet.
It's funny though, we were saying like, this is almost more enjoyable than when it's hot and humid in a way.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah.
I was telling him it's because you have to accept this.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well the sun at least is kind of coming out now.
I got something good for us. Splatoon gummies.
Daryl Anderson is like the patron saint.
I feel like a inkling right now.
They're like empty Go-Gurt, or empty,
They're like that because they kind of pop.
not Go-Gurt, what's the word I'm looking for?
Gushers.
Gushers, they're like empty gushers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like real calamari.
It is like that.
Yeah. I wonder if that was intentional.
You just bent over and 2 drips of water just fell out of your backpack. 2 trickles.
Let's try another one.
What's it?
Might as well. So this is Happy Nikoku, which I don't know what that means.
It's like another gummy. That's adorable.
Little cat paws.
They look like the color of a cat paw. They got that pink color. Oh yeah.
With the sun returning, we all headed back onto the trail together. Now, we were ready for a relatively peaceful hike.
Eventually, we again crossed to Avalanche Lake and started the scramble across its boulders all over.
It was great to be back in the open, near the giant cliffs, especially now that the weather had improved a bit.
As we hiked, we came to a spot where the echo across the opposite cliffs was particularly prominent.
Like, that is not just an echo, that is a call and response echo.
I can't do falsetto like you guys.
Scrambling down the steep rocks and wooden ladders was especially difficult after the rain had made things slicker.
After getting past the most treacherous parts of the hike, we sat to rest a bit.
It's the first time I've gone hiking in shorts, and it's pretty amazing. It also comes equipped with some emergency blinkers or flashers. Just go like this, you see the pale of my skin right here.
Well, the good news is I think we've just finished the worst of it, right?
Right.
It was harder on the way back, I think, too.
Really?
Sure. think so.
I think it was just easier for me because I wasn't so exhausted I was yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Like by the time we got there, I was exhausted and I was really cranky.
We were
like all of us. Like when we finished the bouldering and then we passed the lean-to and Thomas kept going, I was like, Thomas, should have just taken that lean-to.
Well, now that I am on a flatter trail and have more brain space to actually think about anything else, I keep seeing these blooming flowers everywhere, and I wanted to talk about them because they really look a lot like elderberry to me, but it's definitely not the sort of elderberry I'm used to looking at. I'm thinking it's either that or some sort of variety of sumac, but they're definitely growing as like shrubs or small trees, and they've just got these clusters of flowers. Look a lot like elderflowers, and the petals sprinkle off really easily. But yeah, distinctive red stems. Compound leaves. So I'm just gonna have me tell you what it is in the narration. It turns out this was American mountain ash, which has several more leaflets per leaf compared to elderberry, but definitely looks really similar.
We came back to the wooded area with towering mossy cliffs and boulders. Among the trees, Andrew found one that really stood out.
So a lot of times when we've seen birch trees, they're usually like kind of silvery or gray. They still have that papery bark you can tear off and use for tinder, but I think we're deep in paper birch territory, and this is just like the prime example. It's like a ream of paper.
How come they turn orange on the ground?
That's just the inside of it, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, the underside is kind of orangish pink.
Well, I actually noticed this one on hiking.
Yeah, it's super papery. Just want to like rub it. We hiked on and things started getting darker once again, so we decided to find shelter.
Feels like rain again.
Yeah, it got really dark. Feels like a haunted forest.
Oh no. No rain, please. Hopefully we don't die.
Yeah, hopefully it's a temporary thing.
So yeah, we're 0.4 miles away from the dam.
That's good.
And I'm content to wait this rain out until it gets dark, to be honest.
If we do wait this rain out till dark, we might as well just stay here.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Why even move at that point?
You want to just want some more pretzels?
I need some. I'm starving.
Brian needs pretzels stat. 50 cc of butter snaps.
I'm glad we found the lean-to. This is like quite a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
When you meet people on the trail, it's like you always feel a sense of camaraderie, even if it was like someone you know you wouldn't normally spend your free time with. Mm-hmm. Like you just see them and you just say, hey, like be safe and everything. Everybody's just like, everybody shares the same thing you're going through. It's always nice to see another person and be like, yeah, they know what we're going through.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'll trade you 3 pretzels for a bite of your sandwich.
Did you have to bite my fingers too? I won't even charge you extra.
While we sat, we searched through some of the old scraps left in the lean-to.
So there's a mountain of paperwork here. Rules. It's a random brochure. Magazine.
Not a bad idea.
Journal entry, it looks like. In the morning of the 28th, I started walking down the path and noticed all of our bear canisters were falling down and rolled away. I looked up and a black bear was walking away about 100 feet from me. We didn't have any problems the next morning.
Huh.
Eventually, the rain became lighter, so we left the lean-to and made our way back up to the main trail.
The trails were much muddier than they had been before, but the scenery was just as stunning as we remembered.
And the energy that the forest gave off was one of excitement, again reminding us of being out west. So one of the reasons this place feels like the west is all the pine trees or conifer trees. There's all these blisters in the bark, and when you pop them, there's a sort of like oily liquid that comes out, and you can use that to seal up wounds and also to start fires.
This is the same one from Yosemite?
Yeah, so it's like the balsam fir. It's kind of like an oily texture with like kind of minty or piney fragrance to it.
It's oily.
And it's got some bitterness to it too. Nothing that'll kill you, but I don't want to eat too much of it.
You cannot pass.
Yeah. So I always see these like planted in people's yards in Ohio or like at the gym I go to decoratively. But this is river birch, and I've never really seen it growing natively until now. I don't know how to describe it, just something about the way the bark looks. It's kind of like beige color, and the way the bark flakes off is almost like crinkly and wrinkly, not nice and smooth the way it peels off. And I've usually seen them around this size, but yeah. Oops. We've seen a lot of other birch trees, but I've never really seen a river birch in the wild.
We eventually returned to Marcy Dam, where Andrew found more plants to investigate.
Whenever you come to open meadowy places like this, it's a great opportunity to find plants. And this one is called Self-Heal or All-Heal. It's kind of got this towering cluster of flowers. And my understanding is it's just sort of like a general medicinal remedy for a lot of different ailments, like headache or upset stomach, stuff like that. And you can eat it or make a tea out of it. And it's in the mint family. It's got a square stem, and the leaves kind of grow perpendicular from each other. And also growing in here, there's some wild strawberry and some plantain, which is great for skin problems, and just some random grass.
We were near our next campsite and decided to take a moment to rest our weary legs and take in the majestic scenery.
We crossed over and found a nice, uninhabited lean-to.
I'll be mindful of not getting This is great.
Yeah.
Besides the pools of water. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully there's enough frogs eating all the mosquito larvae.
Yeah. My dad said that he had a French friend who said that American coffee tastes like sock juice. And I'm looking at this sock juice and I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
We settled into our shelter, then Robbie and I went off to prepare dinner. We were having a whole host of different dishes.
Gotti's chicken and dumplings.
Cajun ranch chicken salad.
This is cowboy pasta.
Shrimp capellini.
And while we prepared the food, we met some more viewers and fellow hikers.
And what were your names again?
My name's Dominique.
And I'm Kyle.
Good having you guys as neighbors today.
Great too. Love your channel.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
First up, chicken and dumplings.
Oh, good. Yeah. You know what it tastes like? It tastes like the filling of a chicken pot pie.
Oh, this is supposed to have the turkey sauce. Crap.
Oh, that definitely tastes different. Although it's probably really like
Concentrated now.
Yeah. It just tastes like gravy.
The scenery continued looking stunning as we moved on to the next dishes, pastas and chicken salad.
Okay, so now cowboy pasta.
The pasta's cooked to a consistency that I really like.
Better than I thought it would be. Yeah, good.
And now, the chicken salad.
That's
Go
good.
ahead and take a bite.
Oh. Are those cranberries in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And last but not least, shrimp capellini.
Just like the texture of tiny noodles.
It's nice when you can eat noodles with a spoon. It's like when you're a kid and then your like mom cuts it up for you.
After dinner, it was back to the campsite for a quiet evening.
While we were there, we discussed tomorrow's plans.
Yeah, okay, so me and Thomas, we have not had enough yet. So we've decided tomorrow we're going to go up to Wright Peak real early in the morning.
Right peak, wrong decision.
Do you think you would have felt satisfied if you had gone up the Colton Mountain?
Yeah, I like looking at all these mountains in the distance. I'm just like, man, I got to go to one of them.
Yeah.
I got to see it.
But anyways, me and Andrew,
We're gonna be taking our time, sleeping in, casually walk out.
There was a moment where I was like, I could probably do it without my gear and stuff, but I don't know. Then I was sitting in the shelter for a while, and I was like, I'm at peace.
I've said this a few times before. It's like Andrew. There's a good quote. It's like people who climb mountains are obsessed with themselves and oblivion.
Well, I'm definitely obsessed with myself. Nobody's ever questioned that.
It is funny though. It's like for me, backpacking's all about being in there wherever you are, and so I've had enough of this rain.
Yeah, if all three of you were still going tomorrow, I'd be like, I'll just wait at the car. Like, I know my own limitations, and I know that I would only slow you guys down.
So tomorrow, we'll meet back up.
Yeah.
Have a glorious meetup and a glorious post-hike meal.
That'll be a great end to a pretty good trip.
Everyone's happy.
All right.
I think it's a plan.
That's a plan.
Sounds good.
See you all tomorrow.
All right.
Buenas noches.
Brian's out there like a kabuki theater or something. Like this is a big theater stage or something.
Right, like the pre-sleep night show.
That'd be so funny.
Why is Thomas just like mummified?
Trying to change my underwear.
What?
Underneath the blanket.
Why did we do that earlier?
Everybody knows you gotta be in a good mood.
Your socks up?
One of them are mine.
Yeah, all the other ones are mine.
What if Brian could set his hammock up in here? He was just like dangling in the shelter.
This is somewhat reminiscent of Grayson.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in at night, then just remember, don't start screaming at them.
Poor Mike.
It's like, oh god, these guys don't want me around at all.
It was early in the morning when Robbie and I got up to head out.
Let's go. Bon voyage.
Why are these shorts? I feel like a dad hiking. Like, you ready, kids? Let's go.
You're not cold?
I'm a little cold, but hiking makes me a little warmer.
I was hoping that we'd be like the only ones up. Everybody's up and hiking already. Do you usually get started this early when you climb mountains?
Sometimes earlier.
Dude, I'm so disappointed, man. One time I'm up at 5:30 in the morning, and I don't even get to experience like the feeling of being up before everyone else.
Nonetheless, it was still an absolutely beautiful morning, with finally some clear skies and sunshine.
1.0 miles. More than halfway back. We hiked through the familiar areas, then found ourselves back at the lodge, where we could unload most of our gear at the car. It's not really the end. We still got 8 miles left.
This is a quick pit stop. Modern society.
But now, it was back to the trail.
We have to go a mile back into the junction. Once we get to the junction, we'll head on the new path up to Wright Peak. We've had our coffee, had our sandwiches.
You know, coffee and those protein bars, that's like a miracle in heaven. I've never had that before.
It wasn't long before we hit the junction.
Ready?
Let's go.
All right.
With Thomas leading the way, we zoomed up the trail.
Yeah, compared to what we usually do, this is a blistering pace. A good 2 miles nonstop. A good break. Feels good. That's Thomas spoiling the moment every time.
Oh, bears.
Got some nice peanut butter.
So I was telling Robbie, I feel like when we're going uphill, it's so much better that you don't see the top and that you're surrounded by dense forest, because all you do is keep looking at the ground, going. You're not thinking about when is this going to end. On the flip side, when you're going downhill, it's so much better when you can see the end, because you know exactly how much further you have left to go. It's what you were kind of experiencing on Whitney, right?
Yeah. Every time I saw a different mountain peak, I was like, oh, this one, This one is the top. And every time Thomas said, dude, we have barely started.
Now, the real mountain climbing began.
That doesn't even look like a trail. And up here is McIntyre Falls.
The scenery reminded me a lot of my trip to Katahdin last year.
This was like Katahdin? Yeah. Yeah, this is unrelenting, man. Look at that.
You want one bite? I'll take a bite. Bland.
We continued scrambling, excited to get to the top. We originally wanted to reach the top of this mountain from the opposite end by hiking a loop, but only today was the weather good enough to make a safe attempt.
The really interesting part about this is that the parking lot attendant told us that this is the easier way to get up here. Yeah. The other side's supposed to be even harder, which is pretty nigh unbelievable. You can see a patch of blue sky up there. Thomas just said he doesn't want us to get our hopes up, but I'll go ahead and get my hopes up anyway. That's what I do. Yeah, this was the patch of blue sky. Just more up? What? Yeah, hopes are back crashing down.
Along the way, we saw a sign confirming our decisions the past couple of days, and then we continued climbing on and on.
Still not much of a view, but I know we're getting up to the top.
Man, I'm excited to get to the peak. That is gonna look so cool. Look at that. Oh, dude, you could not ask for a better day to climb a mountain. Up ahead is Algonquin Peak. To the left is gonna be Wright Peak.
You know, when I started first hiking mountains, every time I got to a mountain, there'd always be another one higher. It's like, why did I spend all this time hiking to this mountain when I should have been hiking to that mountain? Eventually, I got over the fact that there were some mountains you just weren't gonna hike. And once you can get over that, you can just enjoy the moment that you're in right now.
I mean, that's the thing, dude. Getting to the top is such a fleeting moment. It's over in a second. So it's so important to have a nice cliche in your back pocket when you're walking. Life is about the journey. Wow, dude. It is occurring to me we have to go back down this. Which just looks a little slick, but we should be fine.
Meanwhile, back at the lean-to, we were having quite a relaxing morning.
It's been about 4 hours since Robbie and Thomas started packing up.
We're just pretty much gonna head out. It gives us about, I would say, 2.5 hours.
Yeah. You can't ask for better weather than this. It's nice and cool for hiking, but nice and sunny.
Yeah, cool and not humid. Great way to end a trip, at least.
Yeah, that's for sure.
End it on a high note.
Yeah.
We hiked out from the shelter and began our journey back to the trailhead.
It was a relaxing hike through the quiet, clear skies.
But our hike was a bit more strenuous.
It's weird, this rock face seems too steep to climb. But somehow when you actually do it, you're able to grip it somehow.
Looking down is a lot worse.
Yeah. Looks terrifying going down.
But now, we were approaching the open tops of the mountain.
Oh, hey.
Whoa! This is living right here. Oh man, I love it so much. How many feet is El Capitan?
7,000.
Alex Honnold climbed that, and he did it in 3 hours. We've been hiking for 2 hours and 14 minutes, and this is like 2,000 feet.
In our defense, El Cap is about 3,000 feet tall off the ground floor.
Oh, that makes me feel way better.
kind of hard to overstate just how steep this actually is. Feels real good.
Sweet taste of almost being there until you realize it's up there.
That bastard. This is a heck of a cairn, dude. Dude, who stacked this thing? Is this it? Oh, baby. Before we reached the summit, we took a quick detour to investigate the wreckage of a B-47 bomber that had unfortunately crashed during a test flight in 1962. It's actual wreckage, man.
The guy that was standing here just told me that the plane came crashing at 400 miles an hour.
That explains the wreckage. Oh, that is insane, dude. Oh, we did it. We did it. Wow, that is amazing, man. Look at that. We knew the moment was going to be just as fleeting as it always is, so we sat and appreciated the view that the morning's climb had earned. Life can bring about vastly different situations. One minute you're on the top of a sun-soaked mountain, the next at the bottom of a thunderstorm.
The line between cooperation and chaos at times can seem so thin. People naturally tend towards cooperation, and in the right conditions, they can reach the mountaintops.
But when people are surrounded by harsh conditions, they can easily slip and fall back into the mud.
When people have less than what they need, they slip into survival mode. Aggression and hostility become easier, even necessary.
But behind everyone's actions, there's a story. Even a petty criminal who robs and steals has a story, a set of conditions that led them to their actions. When it's a sunny day, you can zoom up a mountain, but in a thunderstorm, all you can focus on is just staying dry. If we want a world where people tend towards harmony and cooperation, then we have to work towards a world where we can all start off and end off with a clear, sunny sky. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy our videos, please consider joining our Patreon community at patreon.com/adventure. You can get access to weekly live streams, in-depth updates, bloopers, commentaries, and more. We've also got t-shirts available, including our latest design by Thomas, The Gateway to the Sierras. As always, thank you so much for watching.
I love the beginnings of hikes. I love the middles of hikes. You better believe I love the ends of hikes.
Oh, there he is.
It was amazing, man. I've never been that happy to be done.
You couldn't have asked for a better day.
No.
It's perfect.
We booked that entire hike.
Thomas, you can hike so fast, man. I was running. I was like, it's still Thomas is beating me. How good does that feel?
Very good. About to change though.
Oh, yeah. You go do that. It wouldn't be a Thomas trip without that.
No.
Let's go to the rivers here. Let's go to the mountains there.
I don't care where, anywhere. I just want to breathe the air.
I don't want to go home. Not today. Not today. Let's all bring some drinks and food. Why not bring some candy?
your guys' beers match your shirt colors.
Ooh, yeah.
How's it?
I gotta toast this, and then I gotta let Andrew try this.
I'm always a fan of goat cheese, and this is like goat cheese bread.
We have hiked from here to there. The views were beyond compare. Now my legs are really sore. I don't know, can I walk much more? I might want to go.
Oh.
Shall we go? Shall we go?
He's just trying to.
Done and gone. We've been out here for so long. The last miles around the bend. All good things must have an end. Now I want to go home. Let's go home.
How was that meatless burger?
It's good. There's like crispiness in there.
Wow, that's impressive.
Remarkably close.
Let's go home.
So this is the stout float? You know, like a root beer float, but with a stout.
I've never had that before.
It's interesting for sure. I'd rather go for a root beer float, but...
We got the beers there. Oh, but you can taste that ice cream?
Meanwhile, I have the cookie dough truffles.
It's good.
Now I want to go home. Let's go home. Let's go home.
All right, Thomas, take us away. Oh no, my phone's over here. That was a good meal. All right, it's time to go.
We have hiked from here to there. The views were beyond compare. Now my legs are really sore. I don't know, can I walk much more?
Right where we started.
Shall we go? Shall we go?
Yeah, we should just start a hotel show.
Just go to different hotels, stay one night, and leave.
Just break up our show into two things: hotel archives and post-hotel meals.
Whoa, good God, yeah. What is the air conditioner
I
setting?
mean, me from yesterday really appreciates this stuff.
Dude, look at the nice bathroom. Look at that. Ooh, look at this. This is great.
This is beyond. Whoa. This is the same price?
Yeah, the same prices.
I call bathroom for sleeping.
So nice of you to drop by to my humble abode. Feel free to help yourself to any refreshments. I've got a lukewarm iced coffee. And over here we've got a lovely view. Really lovely. Oh, there's a donut shop. They might be open still.
Dude, you know what this is? You know why this is so cheap? Is because this is a Sunday night after 4th of July. So there's nobody here. Either that or it was a mistake. And we better get our shower and our robe wearing in before they kick us out.
Now I want to go home. Let's go home. Let's go home.
What's it to be, Shin? Us or them?
Shut down the third world. They lose, you win. Shut down America. You lose, they win. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
He's entered the world code. Sir, that'll shut down the entire planet.
You push that button, and everything we've accomplished in the last 500 years will be finished. Expedition Research LLC, Team Anderson, our entire history. We'll have to start all over again. For God's sake, don't do it, Shin. I told you you'd better hope I didn't make it back. The name's John.
You ever wonder what the deal with letters and numbers are? I mean, I'm walking down the street and I see a sign that says 5 and a sign that says N, and I can't tell one from the other. I mean, S11N, what does that even mean? All right, Aaron Jones, if I see Sarah Churchwell in the building, what do I say?
You're here to see me. You're having lunch with me. I work in the building.
What do you do?
I run a Discord server.
You run a Discord server?
I don't?
I don't see a Discord server coming from you.
Oh, I suppose you could run a Discord server.
I never said I could run the server. Just choose something else. What do I say?
We're having lunch with someone in the building.
What's his name?
Jasper Caparota. Jasper Caparota.
Jasper Caparota? This sounds made up.
Okay, Jason Bohr.
Jason Bohr?
Joie. Jason Bourgeois.
Jason Bourgeois. What does he do?
Get this. He's an importer.
An importer? No exports?
He's an importer-exporter. 1 medium Charlie Joe bisque and 1 Ann McBride stew. There's no bread. You forgot my bread.
Bread, $2 extra.
$2, but everybody before me got it for free.
You want bread?
Yes, please.
$3.
What?
No soup for you.
Show me John Trude and Jim Potts. Show me Clinton and Gordon Johnson. Show me Noah and Mila Johnson. Show me Josh and Carol Riggs.
So, we were sitting here talking quite loudly, and Thomas fell asleep.
Thomas was like part of the conversation, too.
Here, listen. Just look, hold on, I gotta turn the light on so you can see this.
Dude, just immediate. You like contributed in one point of discussion. We talked about it. Next thing we knew, he was asleep.
He's sleeping so soundly.
That's going at the end of the episode for sure.
The camera right on his face. Can't open his eyes. Oh God. Oh God, I'm literally crying. Tears streaming down my face. Oh, okay, I'm stopping it now. Sorry, Thomas.